Ron Kaluski is the Director General of the Canadian Red Cross Ontario Zone and the Executive Lead of National Health Programs. Since joining the Red Cross in 2009, Mr. Kaluski has provided oversight and innovation to each of the programs and services offered in communities across our province, which benefit hundreds of thousands of Ontarians each year. His leadership during several disasters, including the Attawapiskat housing crisis, forest fires, and mass evacuations, has been instrumental in ensuring that those affected received the assistance they required. He is currently leading the organization in a national health strategy, which aims to transform the delivery of home and community-based health services to meet the ever-increasing needs of Canadians as they age. Mr. Kaluski's leadership experience spans the public, private, and the non-for-profit sectors. Before joining the Red Cross, Ron was president of Gesture Tech Health, a healthcare technology company that developed and introduced new and convergent medical technology into global health markets. Prior to this, he was the Chief Operating Officer of the Ontario March of Dimes. For more than 28 years, Mr. Kaluski worked for the City of Toronto, the last 5 of which was spent as Chief and General Manager of Toronto Emergency Medical Services. Mr. Kaluski has a Master's of Business Administration and currently serves on the board of a number of charitable organizations. He provides consulting services to government on emergency medical services and has spoken nationally and internationally on the subject of healthcare, health technology, and healthcare reform. His achievements were recognized in 2002 when he was honored with the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ron Kaluski.
Thank you, Dr. Bismillah. Bonjour, good morning, members of the Board of Governors, President Ann Buehler, members of the Dias Party, students, and guests. Today is a milestone event for our graduates, and I'm honored to be part of this celebration. You know, it's quite amazing. The human brain starts working the moment you are born and never stops until you stand up and speak in public. There is an old saying that's somewhat ironic that a graduation ceremony is an event where commencement speaker tells hundreds of students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is the key to success. It's often said that when one door closes, another opens. And while today marks the end of your academic career at Centennial College, it is also the beginning of the next chapter in your lives. For many of you, it will mark the start of your career and your work life. For others, it may mark the beginning of further educational studies. But whatever your next chapter may be, it is important that you take pause to consider all that you have accomplished. The diploma that you receive here today is so much more than a piece of paper. It represents dedication, commitment, and above all, perseverance. It represents long hours of studying that has readied you to participate as a contributing member of our workforce. It represents your desire to better yourself through the pursuit of higher education. For many of you, it may represent financial sacrifices that you have made in order to go to school. And I hope that in the years to come, your diploma will also serve as a reminder that hard work always pays off. I've been given 10 minutes to talk to you today, and in an age of Twitter, where you must express yourself in 140 characters or less, 10 minutes to some of you probably will seem like eons. Nevertheless, I'd like to spend my time talking about change, because while each of you will follow your own unique path in life, one commonality you'll share is that of change. And as Mahatma Gandhi once said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. As the graduating class of the School of Community and Health Studies, you have chosen a career path that will be extremely rewarding. But along with these rewards will come challenges. And as our society changes in the years ahead, those challenges are sure to become much greater. To assess these challenges, each of you will need to be flexible, innovative, and most of all, unafraid of change. There are more than 300 graduates here today, and many of you have chosen to work with youth. That is a noble choice. Rarely a day goes by when one doesn't hear media reports of bullying or youth engaging in violent acts. More than 1 in 3 Canadian children experience some form of maltreatment during their childhood. As family structures change, more and more children are growing up without the traditional family to support them. And sadly, more than 10% of Canadian children are living in poverty, which has shown to adversely affect their health and future outcomes. Wherever you find yourself working as an early childhood educator, a child and youth worker, or in another position where you'll work with youth, you will witness these challenges every day. But it is likely that you will also have an opportunity to contribute to solutions. Challenges abound on the other age of the age spectrum as well. By 2041, almost 25% of the Canadian population will be over 65. Imagine 1 out of every 4 people will be a senior citizen. And this demographic shift that is unprecedented, and one that will result in significant changes to Canada as we know. And no sector will be unaffected by the aging of our society. Our pension system and our workforce will face dramatic changes. Alternatives to traditional housing will need to be developed. Menus will need to be readable. Transportation and public facilities will need to be accessible. And the hospital-based healthcare system, which Canadians are so proud of, will need a complete rethink. I'm not sure if you realize, but the Canadian Red Cross in its 100 years in Canada has taught millions of 12-year-old children how to look after 6-year-olds through our babysitting program. We are now adding a new module for 40-year-olds to look after 80-year-olds. And for a 100-year organization to adapt is quite a feat. And if we can do it, you can too. As someone who has been involved in healthcare system throughout my career, I encourage you to not be daunted by these challenges. Rather, to see these challenges as opportunities for you to make a true difference for the people with whom you work. I'd like to take a moment to consider the potential in this room. Perhaps one of the graduates today will develop a program for at-risk youth. Another graduate may create a community-based program to assist seniors to live independently on their own, in their homes, rather than in long-term care facilities. And yet another may lead an anti-bullying campaign that stops the hurt for children who have been bullied by their peers. The possibilities for what you may achieve are endless, and the potential you have to make a difference is undeniable, particularly when you consider the number of individuals who stand to benefit from your achievements. For me, I started as a paramedic. I ran the parking ticket system for the City of Toronto as well. I was the chief of Toronto EMS, the chief operating officer of March of Dimes, the president of a virtual reality health company, and now the director general for the Canadian Red Cross. And while I'm not overly special, and perhaps some would say I've yet to figure out what I want to do when I grow up, my point is that opportunity rarely seeks you out. You have to go and find it. Seek those challenges, take those risks, and go with confidence. And I guarantee you, you will succeed. The changes our society is facing will require innovative, out-of-the-box thinking. Graduates, as you join the workforce, don't be afraid to be the employee who asks the difficult questions. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. And remember that just because things have always been done one way doesn't mean that that is necessarily the best way. Change is never easy, but in the words of John F. Kennedy, change is the law of life. Those who look only to the past or to the present are certain to miss the future. As you go forward to the next chapter of your lives, change will happen all around you, and change will happen within you. But if you greet change with the true spirit of innovation, you will have the potential to make an incredible mark on the people you serve, your community, and on yourself. And now to sum up in 140 characters for all of you tweeters out there, be proud of yourself today and tomorrow and in the days to follow. View change as your opportunity to truly make a difference in the world. And my final quote is from a very familiar writer, and one who I'm sure you're all familiar with, Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You are on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. I offer you my heartfelt congratulations and very best wishes for the future. Bonne chance, thank you.